Hey guys, so earlier today I posted on my Instagram account, which is Fibro Fighting Barbie. If you're not following me, I posted that I was going to do an Ask Me Anything, and just going to be an Instagram edition. And that way I can post the picture, ask the question, and delete it afterwards so I don't get questions long after the video is done. So I'm going to go ahead and go through those really quick. Okay, let's see. Jeannie asked, I know that you and Justin are against debt. Since having a baby, do you find it harder to stay on budget? Yes. Are you still moving? Yes. I'll get into details. I remember you talking about in one video carrying a gun when you're out of the house. Do you still do that? Does having a baby make you nervous with the gun around? Or does it make you want to be a more protective mommy? Thanks. Okay, so we'll start with the first question. Yes, it is extremely hard to stay on budget with Jackson. It's extremely hard. And we have gone off budget sometimes. But the most important thing is that we're not getting ourselves in debt. Like, you know, we might go too far in the budget that month and not be able to save as much as we wanted or we would normally save. But like I've talked about in our debt videos, we do use credit cards, but as soon as we get home, we pay them off so that we have revolving credit, and which makes our credit scores higher, but we don't have the debt involved with it. So it is extremely hard to stay on budget. I mean, yes and no. Okay, yeah, that's not true. This is yes and no. Before we had him, we adjusted our budget. And then once we had him and my milk supply was extremely low and we did everything we could, I saw lactation consultants and stuff, and we had to start supplementing him. That I had planned on hopefully being able to breastfeed, so that changed our budget. So we redid our budget to pay for formula. And as he grows, he eats more and more formula. So things like that we rearrange our budget for. Now I also cloth diaper to save money. So we're not spending so much money on like diapers and stuff, but it is harder to budget. But it's like this weird thing I was telling Justin the other day. It's like once you have a baby, all of a sudden you find money you didn't know you had. Just like, okay, I never, like the other day when I went and bought him clothes, I never like would go out and spend $90 on myself for clothes. And I went to just Carter's alone, I dropped $90 on clothes for him. And I was like, and then I had bought other shit from other stores that day. And I'm like, okay, before him, I would have been like, we don't have money for that. Where the hell did that money come from? And I guess it's just because we're so frugal and we're saving all the time that we never spend that kind of money. And while we have it, it's like, it gives me anxiety because it's like, I'd rather be saving it, you know, but when you have a baby, it's just like, I just want to buy them the world, but then you don't want to like spoil them. Once he gets older, like that kind of stuff's got to stop because I don't want him to like be spoiled with, I don't feel like you can spoil a baby with love or emotions and stuff like that, but you can spoil them with material things, and we want to be careful about that. But it's extremely hard to stay on budget. It is September 16th or 17th, I don't know. Usually I would be done with Christmas shopping by now. Yeah, I just said that. You guys know how I am about Christmas shopping. But so far, all we have gotten is Jackson stuff and Liam stuff and a couple of things for my nieces and nephews. And that's it. So it's changed, but at the same time, we check each other when we want to go crazy, or Justin keeps me in check. And we just like bounce things off of each other and make sure we're not going too crazy. But it's definitely more difficult with a baby. Like, it just is. So yeah. So the moving thing, yes, we are still moving. We're going to start building our new house in 2017. But something happened in this area and real estate developers started taking an interest. I think it's what's going on with the freeway near our house and stuff. They start taking an interest in our area, and it's going to be like the big next up and coming area to be in. There's areas close to us that are starting, like our property value has started shooting up out of nowhere. People in our neighborhood that sell their houses are starting to get more and more money for them. So at times I want to be like, I don't even care. I just want to get out of this area, because right now it's kind of a rough part of town. It's, you know, it's not a great part of town, but it's like it's slowly changing, and it's trying to we decided to ride out the change. And I feel like we're outgrowing this house, and that probably sounds crazy to some people, and I don't want to sound, I don't know, superficial with that. It's because it is like, room-wise, we have 3 bedrooms, an office, a dining room, a living room, a kitchen. Like, it is a great house. Like, I don't want to make it seem like that, but with the dogs, there's not enough open space for them in the house and not enough backyard, which was part of the reason we were moving, also because we wanted more rooms to foster and adopt on. Somebody asked a question about that. I'll get to that in a second. So we wanted more space, more property, you know, stuff like that. So yes, we are still going to move, but with what's going on in this area, we were told like basically our property value and our house value would more than triple if we stick it out a couple more years in this house. So knowing that, I would rather stick it out here and then go ahead and build, and then we put more down on the, because we got this house as a inventory house, and it's not the house of our dreams, but it's an amazing house. We were able to buy a new house, you know, which is amazing. Some people don't get the opportunity to buy a house, so we're very, very blessed. But I did negotiate a lot on this house and get it as cheap as possible, which was amazing because it became a great investment for us. So we will be selling this house and getting way more than we bought it for. And so the longer we stick it out, the more money we get. So we've decided to stick it out farther than 2017 to get more money back. So with the new house we build, we'll be able to put more down, more into the, you know, mortgage on it, because that will be the house we build, the house we stay at, the house, like, you know, Jackson grows up in, our future kids grow up in. You know, that's our dream house that we're going to build. So yeah, okay, that's the answer about, I hope that answered the question about the house. Yes, we still plan on moving. We just moved our build date, if that makes sense, because of what's going on in this area. Justin's worried. He's not worried, but he's like, when they talked about the stuff they're going to be building over here and how nice it's going to get, it's like parts of town that I drive to that I just love, and I'm like, shit, I might not want to move if they do that. But yeah, so the last question about guns. Yes, we have concealed handgun license. That is a thing in Texas. We conceal carry. Now that I have Jackson, I conceal carry on my person. I don't know why it makes me nervous when people conceal carry in their person, stuff like that. I feel like on your person means on your body. Since having him, I do not carry. I just feel, it's not that I feel unsafe. I know my gun is holstered. I know that, you know, if need be, it's not just going to go off, if that makes sense. A lot of people have a misconception about guns. They don't understand that if they're holstered correctly, that your gun's not just going to go off. But the fact that I am carrying him around all the time and wearing him, I just don't feel comfortable wearing my gun at the same time. Now, once he is older and I'm not carrying him all the time, you know, on my body and stuff like that, then I probably will start concealed carrying again on my persons. Again, I would never carry in like my purse or whatever, because with a child, that's just extremely dangerous to me. So Justin does concealed carry when we're out, then I'll hold Jackson, if that makes sense. But during the week, we don't really go anywhere. We do have guns in the house. We have gun safes. We have gun safes around the house, like safe places if somebody broke in that I can get to the gun, but they're all locked up and in safe places, which is something we had to do for CPS and stuff anyway. So yes, we still have our guns. Justin still conceals carries when we're out, but I don't go out that much anymore. So, and I don't feel, while he's this young, I don't feel comfortable carrying, so I don't. I will always feel the need to protect myself. I think that's a decision for, you know, like some people don't feel comfortable with guns. Some people don't feel they need that protection. A lot of people I hear say that live in areas, like a lot of my friends that live in other states and stuff, or like smaller cities, will be like, I don't understand that. And it's like, okay, but you also leave your cell phone sitting on your dashboard and go into the store and you come back and your car's not broken into. You know, you also don't lock your doors at night. We live in the 4th largest city in the United States, and it's dangerous sometimes. And I believe if you're safe, if you know what you're doing, that's another thing. I don't think somebody that has a gun but never shoots it should have a gun, because I feel like you should be extremely comfortable with that weapon. Yeah, that's just that. I don't want to start a gun debate or anything, but yes, we still have our guns. They're all locked up for safety, even though Jackson couldn't get into them right now anyways. We've always kept them like that for when kids come over. And Justin does conceal carry when we're out. because I'm the one that holds Jackson. So I hope that answers your question about that. Naomi wants to know if we plan on having any more children. Our family will grow for sure by fostering and adopting. I don't know if it'll grow naturally, like biologically anymore. That's if it happens, it happens. We're not going to pursue any more fertility treatment. I say that now. At this time, I cannot picture us going through any more fertility treatments. I feel like we were extremely blessed to have Jackson. And if biologically he's all we ever have, we're so amazingly blessed to even have him. And our family will grow through foster and adoption. I'll get to that question in a second because somebody asked, so I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah, if we have more kids, then we have more kids, that'll be fantastic. A lot of people have asked, are we preventing right now? Yes, but I can't take hormonal contraceptive pills. I probably will never take those again. I feel like a lot of people say they help their polycystic ovarian syndrome. I found it really threw my body off, being on that like most of my life. So I will never take that again, but we are, preventing in a sense, and it's because the doctor said with everything that happened with my heart and preeclampsia and having a C-section, we really need to try to wait a year before we start again. So yeah, after a year, then it is what it is. If we get pregnant, that's fantastic. If not, it's okay. We've made peace with that. So I hope that answers your question, but our family will definitely grow, just maybe not biologically. So Erica wants to know, when do we plan on fostering and adopting? And she was saying in California, they have to wait a full year after adopting or giving birth. And do we want to foster and adopt alone? So we are definitely still going to foster and adopt. Adoption, if it's an option, yes, but we're going to do both because sometimes kids just need a place to foster for a little while. We do plan on taking families or multiple kids, but so those of you that are new to our journey, we went through the last year of our infertility working on in Houston, the Children's Protective Services, to become adoptive and foster parents. We went through classes, all this stuff. We got to like kind of placement part of things, and they called us up and they're like, hey, there are no kids, and we weren't picky. We weren't like picky about age, race, anything like that. We were pretty open to anything, with the exception of teenagers, and that was just because emotionally I know they needed so much, and I was worried that if I got pregnant or something like that happened, that I couldn't give a teenager who's been through the system and had such a rough life, I couldn't give them what they needed. So teenagers like 16 and up was pretty much the only thing we were like, we can't do. And they told us, we don't have any kids in your district. We have plenty of fosters. So basically they told us, you need to get with our private agency, which means we have to pay to foster or adopt, which means we pay to get these kids that could be taken from us in a week. And it came to the decision, it's like, we're either going to pursue fertility treatments or we're going to stop, and we're going to pay to go through an emotional, just like trauma that would be like falling in love with a child and then having them taken away from us. It's not even like adoption where like they're yours, they can't be taken. So we have made the decision to continue our infertility treatments and at the same time work on our new house, which would be in a different district, and the house would be larger. We have more rooms for kids, in case we had to take on families and stuff. So then all of a sudden I got pregnant. And in the state of Texas as well, you have to wait a year after giving birth. They wanted us to stop fertility treatments once we got to the point of into fostering, once they said, okay, these are the fosters we have for you. But we didn't get to that point, so we didn't stop fertility treatments. So yeah, they're kind of weird about fertility treatments, which we are willing to stop as we, took on our first foster and stuff like that. They're about childbirth or pregnancy, you have to wait. And if you take on, I think the adoption or a small child, then you have to wait as well for another one, up to a year. So, but I think that mattered on age, if I am correct. It's been a while since we went through those classes and stuff. So yeah, we've made the decision after having Jackson that we want to help older children now. And if that includes siblings with younger kids, that's fine. We're not saying we won't take younger kids. If somebody needs a foster, even if it's overnight, we want to open our doors to, like, our hearts to that. But we truly, as kids get older, they have a harder time being fostered and finding homes and being adopted. And so we've decided that after Jackson is older, any siblings he has are a little older towards high school or maybe even close to graduating, then we want to take the time to foster and adopt older children that have never had homes, that have been through the system and stuff, because by then we feel like, okay, our kids will be grown and these will be our children too, but we will be able to give them what they need emotionally, and which we couldn't do with younger kids. And like, we went back and forth about, do we adopt kids his age or as he, and I think it's on our hearts to help older children, but farther down the line when we can give them everything they need emotionally, if that makes sense. So I hope that answers the question and makes sense. I think that's a full question. Expecting a baby 2016 wants to know, she's having a scheduled C-section. Any tips to stay calm during the procedure and tips for the recovery afterwards? Okay. You are going to be as high as a kite afterwards. So, like, honestly, like, even if you don't feel high, you're going to be high as a kite. Girl, don't stress about right after having him or her, whichever you're having. Like, don't stress about that right afterwards. I think you said right after. During the procedure and tips for recovery after. Okay, so right after, you're going to be high as a kite on drugs. Then you're going to be super high as a kite just on love and endorphins and stuff like that. Coming home, my biggest tip for your recovery would be, even if you feel like this isn't as bad as I thought, and you feel like you can physically do stuff, don't listen to your doctor. Rest. These are things I did not do. Rest. Don't overdo it, because you don't want to be like me and like weeks and weeks later, months later, you're still going to the doctor for tears in your incision. That would be my biggest tip for your recovery, is just listen to the doctors. Even if you think your body's handling it well and you can do these things, just take that time for you. And if you have people around to help you, let them help you, if that's your personality. I'm the kind of personality where it bothers me more to have people around me like trying to help me, then I'd rather just be alone. Like, if that makes sense. But if you're the kind of personality where you're into like people helping you wouldn't bother you, then take all the help you can get, relax, enjoy your baby. That's my biggest tip for after a C-section. And just, even if you think you're okay, please still listen to the doctor and don't overdo it. You do not want to be like dealing with open C-section, because it takes forever to heal. Mine is finally healed just recently. Finally. So, and I am like 4 months postpartum. So that would be my tip. For the procedure, I wish I could tell you something to calm you, but they're going to be pumping you full of drugs. So it's not going to be, the scariest part is going to be probably your spinal. And if you get a spinal, and the spinal is not going to hurt. That's what I was terrified of. It's not going to hurt at all. Don't worry about that. The scariest thing for me, honestly, of the whole surgery was just the issue. If you saw my birth video, which if not, I'll throw up a card in here, but when I talked about my planned C-section, the scariest part for me was feeling like I was suffocating from the spinal. But really, it goes by, you're in there for a long while, but it goes by so fast. Like, I know it sounds really scary, and I was terrified going in, but it goes by so fast. Like, don't stress about it. It goes by so fast. And as soon as your baby gets pulled out and you hear them cry, like, nothing you're going through is going to matter at all. And it's hard to say that when you're laying there and you're scared and they haven't let your spouse or whoever's going to be in the room with you in there yet. But I promise it goes by really fast. And like, and for my husband, Justin said he felt like it took forever. For me, it was going by super fast. Just try to remain calm. Remember, as soon as you hear your baby, none of it's going to matter. So, yeah, I hope that helps. I just, if you watch my video to kind of walk you through like the sounds and smells and stuff like that, that might help. But honestly, like, once I heard Jackson cry, like, everything going on, feeling like I was suffocating, stuff like that, it didn't matter anymore. I'm getting emotional talking about it. Okay, yeah, it just goes by fast. So don't try to stress too much about it, and make sure that you listen to what your doctors tell you after your surgery. LA Angels fan 14, what are your top 3 newborn must-haves that you would recommend giving as gifts for first-time moms and 2 friends that just had babies? What is the best things a new mom can receive for help with dinners, cleaning, taking older children? Okay, top 3 things. It's hard because I have so many things I love. Okay, this one's really expensive. Halo bassinet. That you've got to really love somebody to give them that, because that's like $250. But if you have it in your budget to be able to get, I'm trying to name things that are like high budget, small budget, medium budget. That at the top of the budget is like my must-have. The Halo bassinet was the best thing in the world, and it's something I thought was so stupid before like I had him and when I was registering, but it's the best thing in the world. Medium budget, let's see, I'm trying to think. Probably would be a really good thing would be probably the 4Moms bathtub, and that is probably one of like my top favorite things that we got. It's about $50, $50, I think. What I love about it is it tells you the water temperature. It keeps the water flowing, which when you have a newborn baby, they get cold so easily. And you guys know Jackson had temperature regulation issues, so they get really cold really easily. And that water continuously flowing is fantastic because the water stays warm. It tells you exactly how warm it is. Another thing too is if they pee in it, you can just hold the drain or whatever and let it go out fast. Or for me, like he kind of like pees and it pees on the surface and it just flows out the thing. But you can also pull one of the drains and let the water drain a little bit and then let it keep flowing. But honestly, the 4Moms, the Halo and the 4Moms tubs were my most favorite things for him as a newborn. I'm telling you, like that tub is so fantastic because they're not just sitting there in cold water. Like I said, like babies get so, I never realized, besides from him having temperature regulation issues, little babies are so cold all the time. I never understood why. I mean, like, I guess we wrapped my niece up a lot when she was a baby, but I never understood why babies were always wearing so much crap until I had my own. And so that would just be like a huge thing. If you're going to get them the tub, I would suggest getting a foam insert. You can buy it at Toys R Us, like our little turtle one we have. It's just like a foam thing that you can put in there for when they're really, really tiny, if they're born really tiny. But yeah, a 4Moms tub is life. Like, I love that thing. And probably the last thing I would suggest that is a lower price range, I want to say you can get one for like $20, would be the Swaddle Me sleep pods. The sleep pods go up to 10 pounds. So if the baby's over 10 pounds, then it's, I mean, honestly, Jackson could fit in that thing when he was still like 11 and a half pounds, 12 pounds. Maybe not 12 pounds, but it just depends. But even if it's for a couple weeks, that thing is fantastic. So instead of it being a swaddle blanket that they can bust out of and you having to swaddle and all that stuff, or even the kind of Swaddle Me's like we use now where it's the Velcro and stuff, it is this little pod that you put them in and you zip it up, and then you can unzip the bottom for diaper changes, and it's like a little cocoon for the baby, and they sleep longer in it. A lot of people I know that use them said their newborn slept longer in it. They feel secure. They feel like they're in their womb. If we have another baby, that is going to be the most important thing I put inside our diaper bag for the hospital, because Jackson from day one could bust out of the hospital swaddles, and that caused him a lot of the reflex issues where he would like have that startle reflex. And it was like a nightmare at nighttime to get him to sleep because he just didn't feel safe and secure. So those like sleep pods are amazing. Hey guys, so I'm sitting there realizing that I'm in Target, and this is probably weird and cut in. I'm in a different outfit, but I swear to you it's the same day. I'm in Target and I'm sitting there exhausted and thinking, damn, I wish I had a housekeeper. Not to pick up the house because I keep it picked up, but some days I'm like, just to clean all the fur and mop. And then I realized I didn't answer one of these questions, so I'm going to have to cut this in here really funny. And the question was from the LA Angels fan 14. What are the best things a new mom can receive? Dinners, cleaning, taking care of older children. So I can't vouch for the older children thing. I can say for dogs, I wish that somebody had been like, hey, let me walk Amber and Ralph. Let me play with them or give them attention, I would have appreciated that. Like, here's my thing. When we first came home with him, he was really sick, and I really didn't, I couldn't, nobody could come over anyway. And then I wanted time for the dogs to adjust. But and two, like, I really was not keen on having people over right away. So first off, you want to see how that mom feels, because the moms might be like me. They might be like, I just like my own space. I want to be alone with my little family. Some people might not want visitors. I'm weird like that. When I don't feel good or stuff like that, I just want kind of to be left alone. So some people are like that. If we have another child, God, I could be begging for people to come over and help me out. But the first couple weeks, I didn't want that. But when I think now as a new mom and the past couple months, things I would have really appreciated was people bringing us food. It's kind of difficult, though, as vegetarians to expect people to do that. But I always, take people food when somebody passes away or, has a baby, stuff like that. I try to take them food or buy them food or give them a gift card. Or, when I go over, bring them lunch, something like that. So that would have been nice. And sometimes my best friend does that when she comes over for play dates. She'll bring food, and I so appreciate that, because that's probably like the few times I actually eat lunch during the day. But I would say probably if they have kids, maybe offer to do something with the kids or play with them, because I really would have appreciated, after like a month or two, people kind of helping me out with Amber and Ralph, because they're still important to me and they need attention too. Maybe like walking them, playing with them, that would have been appreciated. Honestly, somebody to clean my house, like mop and do all that stuff, would be appreciated now. And my mother-in-law has offered, but it was when I was still kind of in that phase of like, no, I just don't want people around phase. But now I'm like, I'm considering like trying to find room in the budget to have somebody come once a month and deep clean the house. Of course, I keep it picked up, but that's just being real. To like mop really good and stuff, because I feel like my mopping and cleaning now is just like speed cleaning. But what else, baby boo? What else would have helped us? I think the cooking, anything you can offer a mom like that is fantastic and super thoughtful of you. I think a lot of time people, especially me, didn't want visitors, because even once he was able to start kind of having them, is because most of the time people come and their idea of visiting is, let me hold the baby. And it's like, no, I'm trying to bond with my baby. I need somebody to take care of everything else so I can get a grasp on being a mom, breastfeeding, spending quality time with my baby, and not worrying about stuff like that. So that's what I would say. If you're willing to, cook or clean or do any of those things, they're fantastic. And that's the right kind of visitors a new mom needs. So just honestly ask her what she needs and what's best for her. Because if somebody would have done that for me, that would have been fantastic. Like I said, my mother-in-law was great. She always offered to come over and help me clean, because with my incision, it took me, oh Lord, it took me forever to be able to clean, and it would drive me crazy. But it was simple things, just like vacuuming the house, which I can do now. It's like deep cleaning, so I'm like, shit, I don't want to do that. Laundry, oh my God, a laundry. Even if you just offer to like take their clothes and do their laundry, that's super amazing of you. Like, honestly, in that way, then you're not like in their personal space if they don't like that, but you could offer to do their laundry. So we wish somebody would come do our laundry sometimes. So we stay on top of laundry most of the time, and then sometimes we get laundry monsters. We have one of those right now, and it would be nice to have laundry help. But yeah, I think any of the things are fantastic. I think you're a great friend for considering that, you want to come over and like help them with their household, not necessarily just like, I want to come over and snuggle the baby, So that's fantastic. Casey Miller, 18. What would be the best advice for a new mom with chronic pain? Oh, geez. Honestly, excess. Okay, I know that sounds weird, but I've talked about this before. The best tip I can give you if you're living with chronic pain or like a chronic disease like fibromyalgia would be like an excessive amount of stuff like bottles. If you have to bottle feed, girl, like buy as many bottles as you can, because if you can't wash bottles, you know what, that's fine. If you have to wait for someone to come wash them for you, or have your husband or whoever wash them for you, you have like, I could go through 2 days and still have enough bottles for Jackson. Like, that's how much excessive I am with the bottles. But some days, like I can't take care of him and wash bottles, and I'm having a bad pain day. Also, as many places or things as you can, like, to put the baby down. Like, and it doesn't have to be new stuff. Like, you can go to like a garage sale or stuff like that, like a playpen, maybe a swing. I personally don't believe in leaving babies stationary too long. I mean, that might be why Jackson moves so much now and is doing things early, is just because I don't leave him stationary too long. But, you know, safe places to put down if you're in a lot of pain, or if you're a 2-story house. Places to move them around in, like a swing, maybe a playpen. People really love the rock and plays. I don't know, things like that. That would be my biggest, most important tip, has been, like, a lot of people said I was being excessive. You don't need this many bottles. You don't need all this stuff, this baby stuff. But honestly, it's been the best thing ever. And as your baby gets older, I know you said new mom, but as your baby gets older, you might have seen in our vlogs, there is a play mat I got at Bye Bye Baby. Oh my gosh, like, that made tummy time a world of a difference for me, because it is like a anti-fatigue kind of gel mat. It's not even like foam. It's this big play mat. If you've seen it in our vlogs, I'll try to link it below if I can find it. But that thing has been a lifesaver for surviving tummy time on bad days. Getting down on the floor with him and stuff is a complete life changer. But the best tip I can give you besides that would be just slow down. Like, just, you know, if you have a day where you sit in bed with the baby and like do activities in the bed with the baby and stuff, that's fine. Like, don't stress about too much. Your baby's tiny. All they need is you and love and attention. You know, if you have to let stuff go, if shit doesn't get washed, it's okay. That would just be the best thing I could tell a new mom living with a chronic pain condition. And if you have people, depending on your personality, if you have people that can help you, I mean, let them help you. For me, like, when I'm having a bad pain day or something, I just want Jackson. I just want to be in bed or doing our own thing, because I don't do well with people helping me. I don't know what it is, but I don't. But if you do, I would say take all the help you can get. But it's really, honestly, when they're new and tiny and little, it's not that difficult. For me, at least, I don't think it is. I think toddler years and stuff are going to be harder for people like us. So, the blissful chaotic life, what are your top 3 tips for staying on budget? Well, if you haven't created a budget, my number 1 tip would be, like, create a budget. Not like, a lot of people like, okay, I create a budget, but like, they don't really actually sit down and create a budget and go through their finances and see where money goes and stuff. So obviously, if you haven't done that, do that. But for us, it's really been separating. Staying on budget has been 2 separate accounts, and not in the sense that this is your account and this is my account and you don't get money from mine. It's been, okay, so one, and I've talked about this in our debt videos, one bank account is where your mortgage, your power, your light, your rent, whatever, your car note, everything like that you have to pay to keep functioning month to month comes from. So you create that and you make sure that part of your paycheck or part of both your paychecks go into that account every single month. So that if something happens, like your spending money, your entertainment money, your food money, your grocery money and stuff does not come from there. Your mortgage, your car, everything every month is covered no matter what you do. Like, that would be the top thing for staying on budget, in the sense that, like, you're never late or having to push those things back and stuff. Or you never run into, shit, I don't have enough money for my car note this month, because the money has already been put there. You're not supposed to touch it. It's only for that. And then, like, you have a bank account where your groceries come from and stuff like that. Honestly, if you have, one thing I found that has been saving us so much money budget-wise in our groceries and stuff like that is, if in your area, and Walmart's starting to do this, so check it out if they do, but like, our grocery store now does grocery pickup. Like, I order online and I drive up and they do it. And so I know Walmart's doing it now, and most places have Walmart, so see if yours is. Or any grocery stores in your area are doing it. But this has been something that has saved us so much money on our food budget, and that is to do online grocery orders. As crazy as that sounds, yes, I paid $5 fee to do that, and I tip the person like $1 or $2 that does it. But I have found that when I don't go into the grocery store and I don't see all this shit that I'm like, yeah, I totally need that. Oh, that sounds really good. Hey, look, this is on sale. When I sit down and create a grocery list, this is the menu we're going to have, and I order it online, and I'm not in the store tempted by a million freaking things, I've noticed that we're saving, ever since we started using that service, we are saving so much money. So see if your area like has a grocery delivery or Walmart near you is doing it. That's just something recent that's been something that saved us so much money. Another thing would be just simplifying your life and realizing that things are just, I don't know, it's just like once you like create a budget and you start realizing where your money's going, you realize how much physical crap like clothes and like I used to get my hair done all the time, my nails done all the time, stuff like that just doesn't matter at the end of the day. So as strange as that sounds, like realizing that has helped me stay on budget a lot. But another thing helps me stay on budget, okay, like birthdays and stuff like that comes up all the time, and Christmas, and shop in the clearance section. Like I've talked about Christmas budget, that's like a huge chunk of people's money, like buying stuff for their kids. I mean, like Jackson, none of Jackson's clothes that I have bought him since I've been pregnant with him have been anything that's been full price. Like people might bought him stuff like for us, but everything he has either came from clearance or was on sale or from an outlet. So if you have kids and stuff, like there is nothing wrong with shopping clearance constantly. They don't need something that's full price. There's only been one time, nope, that's a lie. There was one thing I have got him that was full price, and it was a hoodie at Target recently, and then the shirts and stuff I got him from the Cat and Jack line were on sale. So there is no shame in buying stuff on clearance. Shop clearance. That helps us stay on budget. I mean, for everything. Like I peruse clearance for everything. Household products. If it's something like a Method hand soap and it smells like Christmas in July, who gives a shit? Just clearance, clearance, clearance would be my biggest tip. I mean, for us too, I shop for all our clothes on the clearance rack. Rarely do we pay, or I wait till like a big sale. The only thing I don't clearance on is our food. I mean, obviously, but that's another thing too. Kids' birthdays, I buy stuff throughout the year that I see my nieces and nephews and stuff like that would like. Just on clearance. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's on clearance. They don't know that. It full price. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, especially with kids crap, they're going to outgrow it. They're not going to care about it anymore. And at the end of the day, all you're going to be left with is how much money you spent. So like, if they're going to outgrow it and you know they'll enjoy it, whether it's on clearance or not, I hope this is making sense, my clearance rant. Whether it's on clearance or not, it doesn't matter because they don't know, they don't care. It's still a good product or whatever. Like I just bought at the Disney outlet, there was like a Jasmine and a Star Wars set that's usually like $12 and it was on clearance for $5. And I got those to go with my niece and nephew's gift card for Christmas. They don't know it was $5. It's a $12 item. It's just on clearance. So I hope that makes sense. And you can do that for people in your life too. If you see something you know, like your friend or family member, like for their birthday or whatever, like buy it on clearance. You know, if it's on clearance, it doesn't matter. You know they would like it. Who cares how much you spend? That's not the point. So I hope that makes sense. Clearance, clearance, clearance is my another big tip for how we stay on budget. And like not buying too many clothes. That's another thing. Jackson, I went crazy recently and then I felt this guilt because it's like, really? All you have to do is wash his clothes. And I don't let our lives get so excessive that like, you know, our closets are overpouring and stuff. Like you don't need that much stuff, if that makes sense. I don't know, that's just how I feel. It's like if you've ever been through severe debt like we have, it's just something that kicks into your brain where it's like, savings, I don't need all this shit, simplify my life. But always try to look ahead to the future of what's going to be expensive, if that makes sense. For instance, Justin and I want to buy a new car and we want to buy it brand new so that it has a warranty, and this would probably be a tip, by the time the car is paid off, around the time shit starts going wrong with it, it's paid off. And once we pay something off, usually if it's something big that might need repairs, once we pay something off, we tend to keep saving the money we were paying instead of being like, oh, all of a sudden we have all this free money. Okay, so with the car and stuff, when we get our tax return, we'll probably use that for a down payment. And because we don't have like the debt issues anymore, we'll probably use that for a down payment. We'll buy a car new. If we decide to, I might change my mind because I get, again, do I really need this in my brain? We'll buy the car new, and then make our payments for how many years. Once it's paid off, we're not going to be like, all of a sudden we have this chunk of money free to use for whatever we want. No, we're going to keep making payments, but to a savings account. So probably for I'd say we'll probably do at least a year. For a year, even though the car will be paid off, we'll still be making payments to this savings account that will then become the auto repair account, if that makes sense. We might go past a year, but that way, when something goes wrong with the car, we have this huge chunk of money that we can use to repair it. Probably need to do more than a year, to be honest, but if that makes sense. So look ahead to the future and plan for that stuff. I hope those made sense. Those are just, in my brain, the biggest things to me that stick out, that keep us on budget and out of debt. So I hope that answered your question right. And a Pink Jelly Bean 04, what are some good vegetarian, like quick vegetarian easy meals, like quick and easy? Well, our favorite thing right now has been our taco bowls, which are like a cilantro rice, lettuce, green leaf lettuce. I make a homemade ranch dressing for it. I put beans as the protein and corn in it, and sometimes we put cheese. I love putting a ton of guacamole in there. So that's like our favorite thing. It's really quick and easy. The most like the hardest part of it is having to cook the rice, but that's just like, I don't know, it takes like maybe 13 minutes total from start to finish. So that's been like our favorite quick go-to meal. We've been eating a ton of that. There's always like, it seems like a lot of Mexican food, but tostadas, we just love putting refried black beans, the fat-free kinds. Well, refried black beans don't really have a lot of fat, but onto a corn tortilla that I bake to make hard, and then we fill it up with veggies and lettuce and cilantro and stuff like that. So we make those quick and easy. The tostadas, I'm trying to think. There's a lot of stuff that I would make like freezer meal wise, which at the time it's like, okay, it takes a lot of effort, but it's kind of like food prep and then you have it during the week. But veggie burgers, I know I've shown before, like black bean burgers, you just throw all the shit into the food processor and then make your burger patties and cook them. I've shown that before on like recipes on our daily vlogs, but I can't think. To be honest, a lot of cooking has not been going on in this household since I had Jackson. We love using like toast or like wheat toast or bagels and putting hummus and sprouts, avocado, a little bit of lemon. That's a good quick easy meal. I feel like, I'm sorry, my brain is just like out of stuff, but those are some things that we really love that we've been eating a lot recently. I cannot seem to use my brain right now. There is one thing I really love making: spinach meatballs. They're not really meatballs. They're not the healthiest thing in the world, but they're made with spinach and cornbread dressing, like the dry stuff, and vegan butter and egg, and you make these like meatballs. Or you can serve them by themselves, they're really good. But I put them into spaghetti, but I'll make a bunch and freeze them and then use them throughout the week if we have spaghetti instead of spaghetti and meatballs. So yeah, that's all I can think of right now. I am sorry, my brain is fried. The very last question I just got before I delete this post is how did I deal with the constant ups and downs of PCOS and trying to conceive? Oh, geez. Okay. It wasn't easy at first. I just feel like it's this cycle you go through. The first year of trying to conceive, everyone's like, just relax. But honestly, the first year you're trying to conceive, you are relaxed because they tell you a healthy, normal couple takes up to a year to conceive. You're not infertile till you pass a year. So the first year you're just like, oh, okay, it takes a year, it's no big deal. And then as you get closer to a year, you're like, what the shit? Like, why isn't it happening? But I feel like I went through these phases. The first year was like, nah, okay, it's just going to take a year. It is what it is. And then, but as we got further into the year, my periods stopped and I started freaking out because I'm like, how am I going to track these cycles? But okay, because my, doctor said you can still get pregnant without a cycle. So I tried not to stress about it. But I went through like, oh, okay, not a big deal. It can take a while. to what's going on to severely angry. I went through a phase around 2.5 years, like it was around the 2 year mark where I just was severely angry, and that was probably the hardest part of dealing with it. I don't know. I had a lot of anger, and I always made sure not to direct it at anyone or hurt anyone. And I think that's why I started talking about my infertility on YouTube, because it was easy to talk about it and find people that relate and talk about my emotions I was feeling, rather than ending up blowing up on people or hurting people's feelings, or I don't know if that makes sense, like trying to talk about it. So my biggest thing would be, if you're dealing with infertility and PCOS, and I've told this to a lot of people in our real life too, and they've been like, wow, it makes a huge difference. My first thing would be to deal with the ups and downs would be, don't try to keep it a secret. Like, who gives a shit if it makes someone uncomfortable? Like, this is what you're going through, and you're struggling, and as embarrassing as it can be, and as much as it's like you don't want to tell people because you don't want to hear, have you tried this, and they don't understand that you have a medical condition preventing you from getting pregnant or making it difficult for you to get pregnant. It's like, as much as you don't want to tell people that, it's like, it's so freaking relieving to just put it out there, tell people your struggle. And I don't know, like, so that's kind of the way I dealt with it. It was finally just like opening up and being like, this is what we're dealing with. It's causing a lot of pain. And it helped our marriage so much, because let's be real, infertility is harsh on marriages. I've had friends that have come close to divorce because of it, and thank God they were able to repair their relationships and grow from there. But I would say talk about it. Talk, even if you're not going to tell the whole world, like I did. I told the whole world. I posted infertility stuff on our personal Facebook. I was an open book about it. If that's not for you, just tell people close to you about it at least. Share your struggle, because that helped our relationship so much. Just sharing our secret with somebody besides us. Then another thing would probably be, I just said it, I don't remember what I was going to say. Besides talking about it, would be give yourself breaks. That's what I was going to say. As hard as it is, because you're like, it's already been this long, I don't want to take a break. Give yourself breaks so your relationship doesn't break. And that makes sense. Give yourself breaks in between treatments. Give yourself breaks in between really intense months. We took several, you say on a break. So when you're infertile and you say I'm on a break, it doesn't mean you're just like, we're not trying to have a baby. I mean, obviously you're still having sex when you're, you could get pregnant, but you're not that month focusing on, ovulation tests and this and that. And give yourself little mental breaks. Remember, like, that you're a couple and why you're a couple, and a child isn't going to strengthen you as a couple because your love should already be there, if that makes sense. I don't know, like, it will strengthen you. Like, Justin and I's marriage have become stronger since we had Jackson, but if we never had Jackson, our marriage would still be strong, if that makes sense. Like, having a baby is not going to define your marriage or your relationship, so try to remember that. And the last tip I could give you, once I finally hit, not acceptance, but I guess it would be acceptance around 3 years, was finally like, 3 years, I was finally like, okay, this might not happen. I didn't give up hope. I never gave up hope, but I realized this might not happen. And I had just learned to accept that, even though I didn't stop trying and I didn't give up, if that makes sense. So it's like I didn't give up, but at the same time, I told myself I need to mentally prepare myself that this might not happen. So, yeah, that's it. And then the biggest tip I can give, which it's hard to say this to people, is, and this is what I do with my daily life with fibromyalgia, no matter what I'm going through, I sit down and I evaluate my life. And I'm like, yes, it fucking sucks I can't have a baby. It sucks and it hurts and it kills me inside. But it's like, okay, look around me. I have an amazing husband. I have amazing fur babies. I love my fur babies so much. They just made my life so complete, and I love my dogs. I love them. I have a house. I have food in my mouth. Like, I am not starving in Africa. I would literally go through pictures of people in poverty in other countries, and I would realize, like, and I don't mean this to say like our journeys don't matter and what we go through doesn't matter. But sometimes when I was feeling low about that or my physical, like, you know, chronic pain condition, I look at others' lives and I'm like, I am so lucky and I am so blessed, and I need to be praying for them. You know, I need to like realize that as much as this hurts and as much as it's, you know, not going to make it stop hurting, I would sometimes have to evaluate my life and how good it was and say, you know, look at these people, look what they're going through, and some of them can still find so much joy in their lives. So I don't know if that makes sense. I would kind of use that. When I get to my lowest and my angriest, I would have to reality check myself that it doesn't take away our pain, or I don't know. I'm not saying what we're going through isn't hard or that we should just shut up and not feel pain because look what these people are going through. I'm just saying it would make me feel like, take a step back and be like, this is hard, this is difficult, this is painful, but look around you and see the good things in your life. And I would tell that to anyone going through infertility. I would tell that to anyone going through chronic pain conditions, diseases, stuff like that. That's just what I have to do for me when I'm at my lowest, and I hope that helps. It's really the only tips I have. I mean, infertility sucks balls. It sucks, and everyone's journey is different. Everyone's feelings and emotion is different, and where you are in your journey also, you know, it's different for everyone. But that's just what I did, and I hope that helps you. Thank you guys so much for asking questions, because I feel like a lot of stuff we get asked a lot just got answered, and I was able to do it in a video. So thank you so much. Sorry if this video dragged on, but I want to make sure that I tried to answer your questions as best I could, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Be sure to, somebody said subscribe to my Instagram. No, be sure to follow my Instagram, because I think from now on when I do Ask Me Anything, it's going to be on Instagram. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.